Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. Also, Happy New Year. My name is Aylin and today we're doing my January TBR. I know I was pretty absent throughout 2023, which I am pretty disappointed in myself in, and my goals video is going to be a separate thing for 2024, but one of my goals is to be a lot more consistent. I was actually having that conversation with my boyfriend the other day about how I miss YouTube and like, not that I need it, but almost in order to fulfill my creative outlet and just like be a well-rounded person. It's one of like my things, and so going through 2023 without it was really difficult, and I don't want to do that again. Rest assured, if you've been subscribed for a long time, stay subscribed. More content is coming. I'm pre-filming a lot of things for January so that I have time during downtime to edit them, etc., and give you guys consistent content. That's something that I need, and I hope it's something you guys want, so I just wanted to mention that. I don't plan on flaking. I didn't plan on flaking last year, but it just kind of happened. This year, I'm making a conscious effort to not. Anyway, we have a full stack of books here for someone who didn't read a lot in 2023. This is pretty ambitious, but I'm still excited about all of them. So let's get started with the books that I want to read in 2024. So first, so that I don't forget, I had my boyfriend and my mom pick out a book for me each to read. I thought it would be fun to do that like monthly and see how I do, especially because they'll be breathing down my neck to make sure that I read it, which helps with the accountability. So my boyfriend picked out The Giver, which I don't have he has a physical copy, but I don't have a physical copy here with me. So I will be reading this by Lois Lowry. I know it's a dystopian and it's about this guy who like holds all of the bad memories or something so that everyone can live in just like blissful ignorance, and he's, I think, training like the next apprentice or whatever to be able to do that, and just like about how difficult of a job that really is, and like carrying all of that history. Could be wrong. I know it's a classic. He really wants me to read it so that we can watch the movie. This is his pick and I don't have a physical copy, so I wanted to mention that one really quickly. Another one that I don't have a physical copy of but I'm actually listening to on Spotify is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I think I'm getting this in my book of the month box for the month of December actually. Yes, I am getting a physical copy of this, I just don't have it yet. I've heard that this one's really interesting. Basically, it's about this woman who has a podcast. She's pretty successful, and she interviews other very successful women and like their success stories to see how they came about their success, what they do to maintain it, and just give people a look into their lives, which is honestly a podcast I would listen to. And one day she's going out for her birthday dinner, and this other woman who I think doesn't have the same name as her, but it's also her birthday, she's her birthday twin, sees that they're both celebrating their birthdays at this restaurant. It's their same birthday, and then she like kind of follows her into the bathroom. This other woman does. One of them is named Josie. I don't know, Josie and Sarah maybe? Don't quote me on that either. She's like, oh, you're my birthday twin, whatever. She looks into the other girl and finds out that she's a podcaster. Just like, it's a little bit creepy, and her life isn't nearly as successful, or she's not feeling as fulfilled by her life as this other woman seems to be. I think the other woman decides to like change directions with her podcast and does an episode on this other woman. I don't know where it goes from there. I know it's a thriller. It sounds very interesting. I've heard so much high praise about this one, so I'm excited. It's already pretty intriguing and captured my attention, so we shall see where it goes. Then, as I mentioned, my mom and my boyfriend picked me out a book. So the book that my mom picked out for me was The Serpent in the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I've seen this a lot of places. I guess it's like a vampire story, almost like ACOTAR, wherein there are trials that this girl has to go through, and I don't really know much more beyond that. I know next to nothing about this. I know it's like a romantasy book, and it's the Crowns of Nyaxia, but this is the Nightborn duet, and there are multiple series or multiple duologies making up a bigger series type of thing with this. So I'm excited to dive into a new fantasy or romantasy fanro, however you want to categorize it, and see what I think about it. Like I said, I've heard so many amazing things about this one, and I've seen this cover everywhere for a really long time, so I'm excited to give it a try, but I don't know very much about it. I've heard different things, and every time I hear the pitch, I'm very intrigued. That doesn't mean I remember it very well. so I apologize. I wouldn't be me if I didn't have romance to read, so I have Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. This one was super popular a while ago. When it first came out, my best friend read it and loved it, so she got it for me for my birthday, and I am so excited to read this one. I believe this one is about a girl who is a photographer, and she is hired for her stepsister's wedding, but I guess she ends up falling for one of her stepsister's best friends at the wedding. That's really all I know about it. My best friend loved this book. It's one of her favorite romances, so I'm very excited to try it. It seems very fun and like Grumpy Sunshine type of vibe. Plus, I personally love a good sapphic romance, so I'm excited to see this one. I don't really think that there's much more to that synopsis, given that it's a romance. Like, everybody kind of knows where it's going. Then, a darker romance. We have There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark. This was a book that my boyfriend got me for my birthday, of which I am so appreciative because he got me a lot of books. This was one of them. He got me both books in the series, actually, and this is one that I actually started forever ago. I got like 60% of the way through and just put it down for some reason, which is so stupid because I didn't have much left. It's not that long of a book. It's a serial killer romance where there are these two serial killers in the art scene, and they're competitors on both fronts with the art as well as the unaliving of other people. But what's interesting about our hero, or anti-hero if you will, is that he incorporates the people that he has unalived into his art pieces somehow so that it can't be traced back to him. Very gruesome in concept, but basically I believe Mara, she is like almost unalived by his rival, for lack of a better word, and Cole sees her literally on the brink of life and death and just walks by her, and somehow she manages to stay alive, and that really intrigues him, and so he starts stalking her and it goes from there. But she is also like a starving artist, and since he's super rich, he is like trying to help her in some aspects, but it's also just super creepy. Sophie Lark has such an easy and accessible writing style that I can personally read really quickly. I really enjoy it. I think it's very well done, so I'm excited to read this one and finally finish it. That is one of my goals for the new year as well, is to either put books down and get rid of them or whatever, or continue reading them. Like, no more picking books up, getting to the middle, and then putting them down, because that's so annoying. There's so many books that I'm currently reading because of that. It's overwhelming. Then, in anticipation for a new release coming at the end of January, not that I think I'll finish this in time for that book to come out, but I still need to read it in anticipation because I've been meaning to read it since it came out. House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas. I'm gonna start the series. I'm gonna finish book 1. 130 pages. I was on chapter 12 and I didn't finish this. It's so frustrating, you guys. I literally was just talking about this. It is so frustrating that I get midway through a book, could easily finish it. I put it down for no reason, literally none, and then I don't finish it. Like, I could be caught up with everyone else in the Sarah J Maas universe, be so hyped for book 3 and like ready to read it. This could be a reread right now, but no, I still haven't finished it because the first time I got the 80 pages in, the second time I got 134 pages in, and still have not read it. It's so annoying to me. If you've never heard of this book, basically it is about Bryce Quinlan, I think. Something happens to her best friend. It's not really a spoiler because it happens within like the first chapter. Her best friend is unalived and they had all of these goals together. She's super disappointed, obviously heartbroken that her best friend is no longer with her. Like, it was intentional because I think it was like her whole pack as well. And so a few years later, I think, she teams up with Hunt Athalar to solve her best friend's murder. Or maybe it's only a few months, I don't know. But basically it's like a fantasy, urban fantasy murder mystery, and it sounds so good. I'm sure it takes off from there because Sarah J Maas's books always do, but I'm so hyped to read this one, especially because book 3 comes out at the end of January, and I would love to just like be immersed in the Crescent City universe while everyone else is also super excited about it. Not that anyone is ever not excited about Sarah J Maas books. This TBR just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger as I keep filming. Then I have another thriller that I really want to read, and that is The Push by Ashley Audrain. I have been hearing so much about this, specifically because I've been watching a lot of Chandler Ainsley, and Hayden, her husband, just read this one recently and really loved it. I guess it has a lot to say about like motherhood, and it's definitely more of like a thriller than it is a mystery, but either way, I'm really excited about it. One of my friends, Stasia, read this one a really long time ago and loved it when she read it, so I'm excited. I don't really know what this one's about. I feel like the synopsis of this one is pretty ambiguous, but it has to be. People don't really like to say what this one is about, so I'm going in not knowing very much at all, just that it really makes you think about like motherhood specifically, and that is something that really excites me. Then I have another fantasy. I don't know who I think I am, but I guess I'm going back to my roots, which is fine by me. This one I have also been seeing everywhere, and that is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This one is like, I think almost a Fated Mates situation. Maybe not mates, if you know you know. But the back says Payton, thief, ordinary, survivor. I've never been looked at like it's a privilege to be in my presence, an honor to hold my gaze, a gift to get a glimpse of me. Not until I met him. Kai, prince, elite, enforcer. If I am to be her enemy, I want it to be because she loathes herself for wanting me. She is the very thing he has spent his whole life hunting. He is the very thing she has spent her whole life pretending to be. And fate ensured they would find each other. I think they love each other, but they need to kill each other type of trope. So it's another fanro romantasy type of thing, and I'm very excited. I've heard it's such an easy read. I believe the sequel to this also comes out in like early 2024, maybe January. I'm not entirely sure. Again, I've heard so many amazing things about this one that I really want to read it. And then I need to read this one like today. It's Christmas when I'm filming this, and I don't know if that will happen, but my boyfriend told me I couldn't do it, so naturally I need to prove him wrong. But if I don't, I will be reading it in January, and that is This Winter by Alice Oseman. This is just another Heartstopper novella. I don't know anything about this one because it's like 80 pages or something like that, so if I knew the synopsis, I don't know. I just don't want to. But I also need to order Heartstopper Volume 5 so I can read that, because I have been waiting for that book for forever, but I need it to match like my other editions, so I need to get it from the UK. I'm so excited. Hopefully I will read this one today. I think it being like a wintry novella and reading it on Christmas could be kind of fun, but either way, I have until like February to read it so that it's this winter. Then lastly, last category, I have some carryovers because why wouldn't I? I haven't been reading much. So Fourth Wing. This is actually the copy that I'm reading, but this one has a dust jacket on it. Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I have been reading this one for a couple months. Nobody's surprised at this point. This one is a fantasy. I don't know if it's technically a fantasy romance, but it is a fantasy, and my battery light is flashing, that heavily involves dragons, which excites me. Doing this rapid fire because I don't want to run out of battery life. The other one that I really need to read, again in anticipation for another book coming out that I'm definitely not going to finish the series in time to read for the new release, but we're still gonna try. Daisy Hates. I am currently 288 pages in. I don't have a lot of this left to read. I need to just finish it. I said what I said. This one is the second book in the Magnolia Parks universe, but we're following a different set of characters in this one, and it has been taking me forever to read it, but I need to read it so that I can finish Magnolia Parks: The Long Way Home, and then Into the Darkness, which I am so excited about. But it follows a toxic relationship, and they're kind of in the mafia. It's very fun, very heartbreaking, so many good quotes. Alright, I think that's it. I probably missed some stuff, but it's still plenty to keep me busy throughout the month of January. Hopefully I can get to all of them. I am super excited about all of them. I apologize that this video at the end of it is a little bit rushed, but I love you all so much. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are going to try to read for the month of January, or if you've read any of these and what your thoughts were. I would love to hear from you all. I love you all so much. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope to see you all in my next one very, very soon. Bye guys.